super ready to talk about control. Because I know Laura is. Laura's really about to pop off right now about some control now. Before we jump in, I tried to not have my dog in the room. I tried to put him out there. I tried to put him downstairs with my husband, but then he just kept walking back up here, and I opened the door quickly to go to the bathroom, and he was sitting on my daughter's rocker, looking just so, giving me the puppy dog look, and I was like, okay, come back on the bed. I can't handle you looking at me like that, and you're perfect, so you can sit here. So if he starts licking himself or being annoying, I do apologize, but that's what we get over here in this neck of the woods. It is certainly not the picturesque, picture-perfect podcast studio, but that's how we do things. That is how Eric and I rock and frickin' roll around here. So hopefully that's okay, but if it's not, it's probably not going to change, because this is just how we rock. So I love you guys. Thank you for understanding. Okay, but today, control. And I really, really, really want to help me and Laura, I should say. Laura just stopped me. It was like, you, both of us. We really want to help you reframe your thoughts around control, because control is a very big thing that's happening right now in the collective. And it can be a hard habit to break. Like, that's just the reality of it. It can be hard to not want to be in control, right? To just flow throughout the day. Like, that's all well and good to say, like, just go with the flow. But to actually go with the flow and release control, that can be tricky. And so I'm going to bring Laura in a moment to help reframe perspective around control. So let me quiet down, bring them in, and let's dive in. So for those of you who control, right, what that is really saying, what that's putting out to the universe is, I don't trust you. It's that simple. You control because you want to protect yourself, because you've likely experienced hurt at some point in your life, right? You're humans, and almost all of you listening to this are adults. You've lived some days, and some of those days were tricky in humans' eyes, right? Our ask of you is to understand the purpose behind anything that it is that you went through. We acknowledge that can be tricky. We don't expect you to do that by yourself, but it's there. It was purposeful. There's purpose behind it. It usually relates to your soul purpose in some way, somehow. It can also relate to what you're manifesting and something bogging down your vibration, and we were trying to bring it up and out. There's so many different purposes behind those stickier situations. But as a result of people experiencing those stickier situations, they latch on to control, consciously or subconsciously, right? It's walking through life gripping the wall of, I can't goof up. I need to know what's next. I need to plan every move. If I don't know what's coming next, and Gabrielle's got wicked chills here. If I don't know what's coming next, I can't be prepared. And if I'm not prepared, I may not know how to defend myself, whether that be physically or verbally or emotionally. And then I'm vulnerable. You control because you don't want to be vulnerable. Because at some point in your life, you learned that vulnerability wasn't safe. And that if you're vulnerable, you could get hurt. And you probably have been hurt at some point in your life when you were vulnerable. We want you to just pause on that for a moment. Let's just pause for a second. It is okay to be vulnerable. Being vulnerable does not mean that you are weak. Being vulnerable is not unsafe. Being vulnerable does not make you an easy target. Your soul is vulnerable. It is okay. With your planning, your control, your predictions, right? Your anticipations. All those are form of control. Let's say you have something coming up in a few months, weeks, days, and you sit here and you anticipate it the whole time, and you try to just think about how it's going to go, and you think about every single worst case scenario, and you start catastrophizing, and you may not even realize, but you're thinking about every single worst case scenario and how you would defend yourself in it. What you are putting out to the universe is, I don't trust any experience you're going to put into my life. I don't trust any experience you're going to put into my life. So I must latch onto it and control the outcome so that I can predict and not be bamboozled ever again in my life. As human beings, you are on this journey of learning how to release that control and trust in every single circumstance in your life and be along for the ride. And we're here to remind you, this ride, it doesn't last long. Even if you live to 110 years old, it's over like that. Your soul chose your human vessel to experience this time in the world. What a gift that is. Let your hair down. Let your hair down. Rip up the plans. Throw them out. Find the balance. Flow through it. You don't have to know how every single interaction in your life is going to be. You don't have to know who it is you're going to marry. You don't have to know X, Y, and Z thing. And we see this a lot with channeling, and we call it out right away when somebody sits down with Gabrielle and they're like, can you tell me this, 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 and this of what's going to happen? Absolutely not. No. Not because we can't, but because we shouldn't. Because we want you to approach those circumstances without control. And the answers give you a sense of control because it allows you to prepare. When you truly, truly trust in your human experience and your soul purpose, and you believe in yourself, you trust yourself to navigate any circumstance in this world. Any circumstance. Right? You get a flat tire on the highway. You trust yourself to call AAA, move out of the car safely. Call the state troopers, whatever you have to do. You know how to navigate these circumstances. But your ego is telling you that you don't, and that you have to plan every single thing so that you can predict. You don't need predictions. You need trust in yourself. And you need trust in us, the universe, that you believe in, right? You wouldn't be here listening to this podcast if you weren't a spiritual being on whatever level that looks like for you. It's all fun and games to talk about the law of attraction and manifesting and all these cutesy things in the spiritual realm. Absolutely. But same with the other side of that deep trust. That is just as important as anything else. And so that is our ask of you. Is that when you find yourself really wanting to control, you focus on your trust with yourself and your trust with the universe. How do you strengthen that? By walking into something that you're afraid of and seeing how you handle it. Trusting that you're going to handle it well. How often do the things that you ruminate on actually come into fruition? Meaning, how often do the things that you worry about actually happen? Not often. Why? Because it's your ego spiraling. It's your ego telling you you are not good enough to navigate that situation. Or you don't have the skill to navigate that situation, so you better pre-plan it now. Or this situation's gonna hurt you so bad. You really, really better figure it out now before it gets worse. No. When you can flow through any circumstance in your life and trust the purpose behind it, and allow the emotions to come, cry if you want to cry, yell if you want to yell, get upset if you want to get upset. That's exactly what we want. We want you to feel your way through these circumstances with emotion. Why? Because if you don't, those emotions get stuck in your vibration. And that is a lot of you on your deep healing journey. That's what you're processing through right now. Years and years and years of emotions just stuck in that vibration. So, it's not that you are a control freak. It's that you've been hurt in your life before. And as a result, you learn that vulnerability wasn't safe. And as a result, you do everything possible, consciously and subconsciously, and on a nervous system, visceral level, to protect yourself from being in that state. Whether you learned people are unsafe, circumstances are unsafe, what have you. We are here to remind you to trust us. Trust what is unfolding in your life. Take a step back and ask us for the purpose, we will give it to you. Once you understand the purpose, and once you shed what's meant to be shed through these circumstances, and once you process what's meant to be processed through these circumstances, you're going to get in a habit of that. Every single thing that comes your way. Every single thing. And it's going to become so much easier. These aren't meant to be hard circumstances in your life that we want you to control. Absolutely not. It's just beautiful things that we're bringing up to the surface and getting them out of your vibration through different ways. Different ways for every single person. So we ask you to really ground in this. If control is something that you struggle with, especially lately, tell yourself, it is safe for me to release control. Play a game. Play a game with us. Universe, if I should release control, send me a sign. Send me a sign and let me know it's from you. I want the sign to be so obvious that it is from you and that you can hear me and that you're here supporting me. Let me know. Send it to me in the next 24 hours. Play a game with us. We're right there. We'll send you that sign and we will make it very freaking obvious that it's from us and it is around this. So ask us that. Work with us. We are here. Remember, we are co-creators with you. We are here. You all have Laura's living inside of you. They're your intuition. They are your higher self. They are right there. Lean on us and lean on yourself. Trust yourself to navigate anything. You are the most powerful human being on this planet. Don't you ever forget that. Every single one of you, the most powerful one. Why do we say the most powerful one? Because there's no competition. There is no competition. All of you can be the most powerful one. There is enough power to go around for every single person in this world to be the most powerful human. Don't you forget that, and don't get disconnected from that power. Control disconnects you from that power. And we hope that this conversation brought you back to it. We love you so much. Oh my gosh. I don't think Laura let me take a freaking breath there. Woo. The good news is the dog was mostly quiet throughout that. Hopefully you guys didn't hear him licking his paw at one point. But I really, really hope that was helpful for you guys. If you struggle with control, we have some resources in our natural manifester membership. I don't know why that's a mouthful right now. We have some control resources. I know there's EFT tapping, some affirmations, some journal prompts around control. There's so many resources out there. So I want you guys to find what works for you. But that's what we can offer to you through that and through this episode and stuff. But if this is a topic you want us to speak more on, please, please, please let us know. I'm sure Laura could have talked for hours on that, but as you can see, I needed to breathe. So I hope that was helpful. I love you guys. Have a beautiful day, and we'll see you on Monday with our next Love from Laura.